introduce myself. I'm Andrew Wool. This is Sarah Grillo, Lisa Borjak, Sean McIntosh, and Charles Smith. We're working with the redesign of Madison Road from just west of Red Bank Expressway to Camargo. Basically, our project was we wanted to make Madison Road a great street. And to accomplish that, we have three goals. One was to convert Madisonville to a destination rather than a route by giving it a sense of place. We wanted to improve movement and access for pedestrians, bicycles, and vehicles. And lastly, we wanted to visually enhance the area to lure people into Madisonville. To accomplish those goals, we selected some few design features that we wanted to focus on. One was a roundabout. Second was a boulevard. Third was to put a focus on the pedestrians and the cyclists by giving them routes to get to Madisonville. Fourth was protected parking. And fifth was some geometric adjustments that were needed along Madison Road. I'm going to start off by talking about the Madison Boulevard. Basically what this is to tie in the interchange redesign. There's some right-of-way that's going to be redeveloped with the Newtone site, and there's some additional land that's available on the north side of Madison Road that we thought would be a great opportunity to incorporate a boulevard style to lure people, to make it more visually appealing for people to come off Red Bank Expressway and check out the Newtone site to come in downtown or business district of Madison. Basically, the boulevard will start, like I said, just west of Red Bank Expressway, carry through the interchange, and then end at Anderson Place, which is the first street just right off the interchange, or right off Red Bank. Obviously, it would be designed for ODOT standards for landscaping to avoid the effects of weathering and salt and things of that nature to keep the road serviced. One thing that I did want to mention with the boulevard style, we designed an extra multi-use path, 12 foot wide, on the south side of the road for pedestrians and bicyclists. The theory behind this is to tie in people on the west side of Red Bank Expressway to the east side of Red Bank and carry on to downtown Madison business district. The bike path, mixed use path, would go across the expressway and, like I said, into Anderson Place, and then from there we'd carry on to Sharrows, and Sean's going to talk about that a little later, and then to downtown Madison. So that was our theory behind that whole process of tying in the intersection with the boulevard. Now Sarah's going to talk about some of the intersection improvements at Stewart.
Right now, as it stands, Stewart is an offset intersection, which means either leg is not actually facing each other. And we addressed this issue particularly because it was a pedestrian hazard to have an offset intersection. Cars get a little bit eager to turn right. They may not necessarily look for a pedestrian who's all the way down here waiting to cross, and they can turn into them because they overestimate how much distance there is between them and the person. It also is a little bit strange for cars because then they get to the intersection and go, oh my God, how do I go straight? So, ideally we wanted to square up the intersection because that gives you the best sight distance and the best geometry. However, to do that, we decided to move the south leg of Stewart because it got slightly less traffic than the north side. Then you'd only have to close the south side for the construction and the north could remain open because it goes all the way up north. However, the downside to this particular design is we go beyond the right-of-way and we have to take this building's parking lot. They have parking all around the building, but right here is one of their smaller lots that we have to take to the road there. We thought about moving this side, however, this is a historical house and there's a really steep grade right here going up into his backyard. So one thing we also considered was how to minimize impacting the neighbors and how to stay within the right-of-way as much as possible. So we considered tilting either side of Stewart to make kind of a diagonal intersection, which is always a little bit irritating because if you want to turn left, sometimes it's a little bit tight because it's not a 90-degree angle anymore. But that really does save on right away. We're not taking anybody's yards or driveways or parking lots. And then finally, if we don't want to mess with the geometry at all and we don't want to break open the road, we can repaint the crosswalks and rephase the signal to incorporate an accentuated pedestrian, to put them literally right in the middle where everybody can see them, and they would be walking across the street when the vehicular traffic hasn't all red. So they'd be completely protected. And that's the most cost effective, but of course that means everybody's got to wait for the person to walk across the road. So now Sean will talk to us about the Madison Business District.
Right. One of the key aspects of the design that we wanted to address was the ability to allow for a multimodal street. And upon site visits, we noticed that there was a lot of time-specific parking, which seemed to be underutilized. So we felt that if that was removed, that would enable us to allow for multimodal street, which has wider lanes on the ends, which would allow space for bikes to pass through. And specifically in the Madison Business District, which we really want to be the heart of this entire project, which hopefully will be really developed throughout the years, we wanted to take into account some sustainability aspects. We're going to add some protected parking along Madison between Ward and Mathis to Glenshade. And at the ends of these, we're going to have rain gardens, which not only improves the aesthetics, but also addresses necessary stormwater issues. And then at the crosswalks, we're going to have stamped concrete, which is more sustainable than the typical concrete or asphalt options. And to reduce light pollution along the way, we're going to follow LEED standards for wattage and light fixtures, which allow the light to be directed down to the street rather than spread out and create ambient light. And as well, we're going to add fixtures that can either double as bike places to lock your bike, and meters. And these meters can be removed if they weren't being utilized. It can kind of adapt to the way Madison Business District will adapt throughout the years, and if they feel that metered parking will be necessary, then they have that option. And then we're thinking of maybe adding one or two of these bike fixtures, which is basically pretty much a full repair station. So it's just a little tool to maybe entice bicyclists into the region and hopefully develop that portion of the business district and those people. So now Charles will go into depth on different options for the Camargo Roundabout.
Camargo Roundabout.
Yes.
I'm sorry. So what we did here is we created several simulations to figure out whether our ideas on this brand new Camargo Madison Road roundabout is going to be effective or not. This first video that I have here is the existing conditions at Madison and Camargo. As you see initially, it's working pretty well, as you probably already know. But OKI did say that it's going to be about 35% more traffic going through this area by the year 2030. And I guess this was based on some of their traffic forecasting. So what I did here is I simulated the amount of traffic that's going through this intersection so that 1 minute of video would give you an idea of what traffic is going to look like by the year 2030. So as you see, currently it's a three-way stop with Madison Road, allowed to go through without having to stop. And a lot of the people who are going northbound on Plainville, I believe, are turning left into Madison. So as you know, that generates a lot of delay time. And if we zoom out here, well, that's what you got. So you see, by the time 2030, we may have a problem that needs to be fixed. So currently, this intersection really isn't that much of a gateway to the community of Madisonville, and obviously the traffic, the flow doesn't work too well. So we came up with a pretty cool idea of using roundabouts. So we'll check out how that works out.